telling me they follow the old ones.
Yeah.
What does that even mean?
I don't know, but they seem pretty inspired by it. People who think they're guided by a higher power are dangerous.
You don't know that for sure. You never even leave the fort if you can help it.
What was that?
Systems are good. Analyzing incoming signals for unusual markers.
All right, let me know.
Eyes front, freelancer.
That you are live, accept yourself, and it will be a totally realistic test, since all the work being done between your end and Twitch's end is exactly the same as if you were actually live. So the first thing that we need to do is to grab our stream key from our Twitch dashboard. Now I imagine most of you have already put this properly set up into OBS, but if you haven't, you can head over to your dashboard, grab your stream key from there, copy it, and then head to your hit OK. We need to add the test flag to the end of our key so that Twitch knows that we are running a test stream. Mentioning at this stage that hopefully you have followed my ultimate guide for setting up Twitch if you're going to be able to handle anything near those kind of numbers. If you are already set up and you followed a previous guide, then you want to just be testing your stream and seeing where you're running into issues. So once you're ready, hit the start streaming and let's head back to the Twitch inspector. Now you might have to wait 10 to 20 seconds for your stream to actually go live and be ingested by Twitch, but you should eventually see the page change to show a graph of your stream stability. Now we're going to want to run this test for at least 10 to 15 minutes to properly be testing your connection. There's no real point of just testing for 30 seconds because as I'm sure you're aware, your internet fluctuates, and if you don't have a particularly stable connection, then it might take 15 minutes for that instability to show. As the test stream is running, we can click on either the stream link here on the left or on the graph directly on the right to open up the proper analysis. Here we can get loads of details about the stream we are running, as well as advice from Twitch if they notice anything isn't set up properly. The graph here on the left shows both the bitrate over time as well as the frame rate over time. So we want both of these to remain as stable as possible. Just as I'm editing this, I've realized that actually the graph that you're seeing on screen now, the frame rate is remaining at 0. So I reached out to Twitch on Twitter just to ask about this, and apparently if you are using the test bandwidth command at the end of your stream key, you're actually not going to be able to see your frame rate here. It's always going to show 0. However, it will show your frame rate if you are actually streaming. So if you think you might be having issues specifically to do with your frame rate, I'd recommend removing the bandwidth test and just having a look at the Twitch inspector after you've finished streaming, and it should show any problems with your frame rate. But as you're using the test bandwidth, like I am here, the frame rate actually isn't going to work and it's just going to show 0. This little box in the top corner which says configuration check, this will recommend any changes that Twitch notices that you need to make to your stream to get the optimal performance out of what you send to Twitch. Now obviously the ideal situation that you would be in right now is that both of your graphs remain nice and stable over the 15 to 20 minute test that you run. The more likely scenario if you're watching this video is that you're experiencing some sort of drops in either your frame rate or your bit rate. The Twitch analysis tool should highlight any issues that it notices with any instability on the graph. You can then use any information that Twitch gives you on that instability and research maybe what you need to change to be able to fix that instability. One thing I'd recommend doing is opening up the help guide at the top here, and that can help you identify what your issue is based on how your graph looks, along with the recommended steps on how to fix that issue. You can also run a more extended test, which I definitely recommend doing if you can afford to. You know, run it for a couple of hours to really get a good snapshot of what your connection looks like. To make this a little easier to be able to do, Twitch provides a handy little notification box here that you can check, and it will notify you if it notices any stability, so you don't have to keep watching this page and you can get on with some other work. Just make sure you're not doing anything particularly internet heavy whilst this Twitch test is running. Now once you've finished running the tests, you may well have some issues that you want to resolve. If you want to get some more information on what changes you might need to make, it can be worth opening up the full help menu, which goes into a lot more detail about the different settings you can change. To do this, what we need to do is click on the All Broadcasts link in the top left and then toggle the help guide back open again. Now you'll be able to see plenty of tips and troubleshooting on things like drop frames and setting proper bit rates and choosing the proper ingest server. I unfortunately can't go through every possible instability issue that could arise from streaming video. Like I said at the start, there's so many different things that could be wrong, but hopefully now you have an idea on what the issue is, and it's just about lowering or changing one of the values in OBS to be able to fix it. By far the most common settings that need to be lowered are your video bit rate, your video resolution, or your frame rate. The second tool that we can use that runs when we are actually live for our viewers is something called Twitch's Analyzer. This is a handy little website where you can enter your Twitch live URL, and it will take a sample of around 10 to 20 seconds of your stream and analyze all sorts of information about the data that Twitch is receiving. It's just quickly worth noting here that this is actually analyzing your live stream when it is live for your viewers. So if you want to use this tool, you need to go back to your OBS settings and take the appended part of the test bandwidth. anything near those kind of numbers in the description below. Obviously, if you are already set up and you followed a previous guide, then you want to just be testing your stream and seeing where you're running into issues.